Hey everyone, this is Max, owner of Logo, and in this video I'm going to be going over how to set up your logo head, how to install your skin and options into your customization HUD, and how to apply them to your head. So right now I'm just wearing a basic system body, just to keep it simple, and the logo May head. And this is the way the head looks when you first put it on. So all of our heads, when you first wear it, will have some default options enabled. So I'm going to go over just what I am wearing. So I've got the May shape, her teeth, the head, the eyes, the eyebrow shape. Again, I'm wearing a system body, so I have a skin on and an alpha to hide the head. If you're wearing a mesh body, which most people are, you would probably just want to wear an invisible avatar alpha, just something that covers everything because you're not using the system body at all. Now the next thing is the customization and animation HUDs. These come separately unless you bought a bundle. So I'm going to put the customization HUD on. Now there's two, one for male and one for female. So they both work basically the same, just the female has a few extra options. And I'm wearing a female head, so we'll just go with the female HUD. And so when you put it on, when you first put it on, it'll be minimized like this. And so I click on it to open up the HUD, and you'll see that it's basically empty. So that's the way the HUD comes, and all your options and everything get installed into the HUD. So the only thing that comes pre-installed are the eye colors here. So I can change her eyes. And then the eye shine, which if you look over here, so I can change the shine that goes over top of the eyes. Okay, so let's actually we'll stick with the default one. So now with each head, you are going to get all your skins and options provided on an installer HUD. Now, as opposed to some other systems, you don't use this to apply the skins and options directly to your head. What you do is you install them into the customization HUD, and then you'll be able to find them there and apply them to the head. What this means is that I can actually have different makeups from different packs or different creators if they're made for logo, different skins from different creators that are made for logo, and they all get installed into the same HUD so that you don't need to search around for your different skins and stuff every time you want to apply something. You'll be able to find them all in the one place. So I'm going to, for May here, it's called the May Skins and Options Installer HUD. So I'm going to wear that, and you're going to see all the different options here. So in the first row here, you've got all her skins. Next, you got the different eyebrow styles, hair bases, including a shaved hair base here is the last one. Different eyelash styles, some tattoo layers stuff, which is two different kinds of freckles and a cheek mole, some blush, and then you have standard eyeshadows and standard lipsticks and logo enhanced eyeshadows and logo enhanced lipsticks down here. So I'll go over what that is in a second. So to add stuff to your HUD, all you basically need to do is click on it. So if I want to install this skin right here, I click it and you see it shows up in the first slot. If I want to install, let's say, this darker one here, it shows up in the second slot. So once they're there, you just click them to apply them to the head. Like that. So now if you want to get rid of something, let's say you want to either have these in order or whatever, you just don't want this one here, you click and hold the swatch that you want to get rid of for 2 seconds. And you'll get a little pop-up saying, do you want to remove this? And you just say yes, and it goes away. Now, with my installers, you've also got this button here. You can install everything individually, just the ones you want, or you can click Install All, and it's going to install all of them. Now, you'll notice that this lightest tone was already installed, and it didn't install it again. So it checks to see if there's something, if it's already installed, and it won't install it a second time. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the stuff. So I've got the eyebrow styles, hair bases, Eyelashes. The eyelashes actually are on the second tab here, Tinting and Options, which I'll go over in a little bit. Tattoo options, blush. There's two different eyeshadows. So there's standard eyeshadows up here, and then if I install the enhanced eyeshadow, those go over here on the third row. And with the enhanced, there's actually two different versions. So again, I'll go over that in a second. Standard lipstick, enhanced lipstick. So once everything is installed into the HUD, you can just detach this. So now you don't need that anymore unless you want to reset your HUD or if you need some options. So now let's go over the rest of the HUD. So if you're using, I'll start here at the top, you've got the different skin options. If you've got different skins installed, they'll be on these pages here. The next thing down is skin details and shine. So you can see there, I took both of them off. What that gives you is, if you're using advanced lighting, it gives you all the little fine details. So if I turn the skin details back on, now you're actually not going to be able to see that very well until you turn the shine on. I mean, you can see it, but depending on your lighting, it's not going to be very visible. And that just adds all the little bumps and stuff, the pore detail and that kind of stuff to the skin. The second one is the shine. So you can see there that adds the little bit of realistic skin shine. Now you can control how wet you want your skin to be by using the gloss slider here. So the more I bring it up, the more wet her skin looks. And if you want it to look, still want it to look wet but don't want it quite so bright, you can use the fade slider, which basically just bumps down the intensity of the highlight. So I'm just going to put that back up to full and bring this down to somewhere around there. Okay. The next thing is you have all the different options here: eyeshadow, lipstick, enhanced eyeshadow, enhanced lipstick, cheeks, eyebrows, tattoo, hair base, eyes. Beside each of these is a little switch, an on-off switch, that you can use to turn off the different layers. So let's say I give her freckles. I can turn the freckles on and off here. So let's turn those back on. And then on top of that, underneath most of these, actually I guess all of these on this page, you have a fade slider that you use to control the intensity, or the alpha. So in this case I have the freckles. I can just click this, or I can hold and drag and change the intensity of her freckles, or whatever you have on the tattoo layer. So same thing with the the eyebrows. I can do that, but then if I want, I can just fade them down a little bit to get a softer look, if that's what I want. Now, the enhanced eyeshadows, enhanced lipstick. What the standard eyeshadow and lipstick are basically the same makeup you would find with most heads and SL skins. They're basically using the default maps, and they're basically standard makeups. So let me just pick one here, and an eyeshadow. So the difference between these and the enhanced is that the enhanced are a special logo only layer, so it's only for logo heads, and they're using a separate map basically, and it gives you up to 9 times the detail that you can get with standard. So if I zoom in on her lips here, this is you look at the highlights and stuff like that, you really can't get a lot of detail in there. If I'm going to turn that off and put the enhanced back on, and you can see how much more detail there is in the lipstick there. And same thing with the eyeshadow. So basic eyeshadow here, I'll turn that off, and let's turn on, like, let's say this eyeshadow, and just wait till she looks around. But you can see here there's a lot more detail in the makeup. Now you can actually use both at the same time. However, the enhanced goes on top of the standard makeup. So if I turn off the enhanced lipstick, and I'll turn the standard lipstick back on, and I turn on the enhanced, so now it's sitting on top of the other lipstick, and you can actually see there's a line underneath because you're just basically seeing the other lipstick in the corner. However, there is some interesting stuff that we can do with this, which I will show in a couple minutes. Same thing with the enhanced, so I could actually put the standard underneath, and I could even, fade the enhanced so that you can kind of blend them together. And again, this actually gives you a lot of different options of what you can do with the makeup. All right, so let's turn these off. The eyes here, you have a button at the bottom. So right now it's set to change both eye colors, but I can change it to just left if I want to do the heterochromia, or just right. The next thing is the inner eye shadow, which is a little bit confusing. But what this is over top of the eyes, there's actually a shadow layer. So, and a little bit of wetness at the bottom of the eye. So if I turn this off, you'll see that the eyes are much brighter. I'm just going to set both her eyes to the same color. And just to give a little bit more realism, I can add that little shadow layer there. And it also means that, like with the logo eyes, you don't get a thing where if you're looking in a certain direction, you're going to have like this big dark patch on your eyes, because that's always kind of sitting there, and it just makes it more realistic. With advanced lighting, you can control how much you want to see. If you have advanced lighting off, you can either just turn it on or off, because you can't fade a texture with alpha. All right, so that's that page. Let's go on to tinting and options. So what this allows, on this tab here, you can basically tint every individual layer, basically everything on the head. So right now, by default, it's set to skin, which means it's turned on. If I can turn on one or all of them, depending on what I want to tint. So if I have the skin there, by default, it's white, so it's not tinted. Now, if I try and click here, you're not actually going to see a change because it's still, the brightness is set to white, so it's always going to be white. So if I want to tint it, I actually have to bring this slider down just a little bit, or a lot, depending on what I want to do. So that's tinting the skin. So if I wanted to tint, for example, the lipstick, same thing, I can just bring it down, change the color of the lipstick. And again, I was saying you could have two different layers on, so you can actually do some cool stuff because they're separated. So if I put this layer down underneath the enhanced layer, so I now have two eyeshadows on. I have the enhanced eyeshadow and the standard eyeshadow. I can click regular eyeshadow and I can tint that without changing the color of the layer on top of it. Probably can't see that very well unless I bring this down a little bit. So I'm going back and I'm just going to tint that. So that gives you a lot of different options. Okay. Now underneath here, you have a bunch of slots for saving colors that you like. So let's say you, I don't know, let's change the lipstick to something like that. And let's say you really like that color. You basically click here. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's do that one more time. Click Save. Then you click the slot. So now you have that saved. So if I go to green, click Save, click the slot. So now I can go back and forth between those two different colors. To get rid of that one, if you wanted to save it, you would just save a white one again. So click Save, and then your slot. Okay, so the next thing, you have the ear options here if you need to hide the ears. You have options for changing the neck sizes underneath. These are the standard neck sizes. And then you have the controls for changing your eyelashes. And lastly, you have options to hide the top of the head or the back of the head if you find that you have a hairstyle where it's peeking through. So now let's go to the third tab. This is the Saved Looks tab. You have 4 slots here where you can save what you currently have. Now this doesn't work for Omega options, it's only for logo options at the moment. But if I click here, it'll say, do you want to load that look or do you want to save it? So I'm going to click Save. And now it's saved that information there. So if I go back here and I change to something like this, a different eyeshadow underneath, I can go back to my saved looks, click that, click load, and oh, it didn't actually, oh, there we go. Goes back to whatever you had saved. The last tab, Help and Settings. This has a lot of kind of useful stuff here. So the first thing is reset head to default. So as I said, when you first take the head out of the package, it has a specific look. And you know, if something got messed up or whatever, if you want to, you know, you need to get back to that look, you can click this. It'll ask you to confirm. And basically it goes back to the default. Reset alphas to default, same thing. It'll reset your just to whatever the default setting is when you first put on the HUD. Materials, if your materials is the shine in the normal map, if that got screwed up, you can, or if something happened, you can reset that. And then this option here. So if for whatever reason you something isn't working right with the HUD, or get a bunch of stuff installed, or sometimes if you can actually make a copy of the HUD if you want to demo different things, or if you want to have a bunch of different saved looks, or maybe you want to have a different HUD for each head, or however you want to do it. But if you want to get the HUD back to the default state out of the bag, you would click this Reset HUD to Default. It's going to tell you it's resetting. And now if I go, it's back to how it was. So just the eyes, everything else is empty. So I am going to go back and install all of these. Now I actually have a button here called Install All. This does work most of the time. Sometimes if you're on a laggy sim, it might not install everything. So you can try that if it doesn't work. We will obviously be fixing that in the future update. But I'm just going to do it this way for now. One thing I didn't mention with the enhanced eyeshadows, the head comes with 2 different versions. One has a crease here, and the other version of the eyeshadows does not have a crease. So it's just blank there. Well, that crease is actually on the skin. But it's you know, sometimes with if you want to take a picture with closed eyes, it looks better to not have the crease drawn into the eyeshadow. Now next we have the tools section. What this allows you to do is you can delete all the scripts in the head if for whatever reason you need to you know, not have any scripts. If you're on a certain sim that doesn't allow it, you can do that. Please make a copy of your head first, because it does get rid of everything, so your head will be stuck the way it is. You can't change it afterwards, obviously. The pose button just puts your character in a T-pose if you need that. The instructions brings you to the logo website for instructions. This button here allows you to join the logo support group. There's a lot of great friendly people in that group, so I highly recommend you join it. If you need any kind of help with your head or any kind of questions, everybody's very friendly in there. This is a link to the Logo YouTube channel, which you're watching this on. And then our Flickr, the marketplace link, and the landmark to the Logo store. So next thing we're going to talk about is add-ons. So I've got a few different add-on packs here. So let's go through these. So for example, I've got the Logo eyelashes pack. So let's go back to the tinting and options. Here's your eyelashes. You can see that page 2 is empty. So I'm going to install these short lashes and the longer lashes. I'm going to detach that. And so now they show up here. These are the shorter ones. Now we have this enhanced glosses pack. So I'll show you what you can do with that. What these are is basically it's using the enhanced layer to add detail to a standard lipstick. So I'll show you what that means. So we go back to the customization tab, and I'm going to, there's a base lipstick that it installs, which looks like that. And on top of that, then I'm going to select one of the glosses. So let's say this one right here. So what this is doing is just providing a bunch of detail on top of the lipstick that's already there. So for example, there's a different one here. And what that allows you to do is, now normally, actually I'll go back to one of the other enhanced lips. So if I was to tint this lipstick, for example, that's the enhanced lipstick, and I make it darker, you can see that all your highlights and everything goes away because it tints the entire thing, including the whites. With the gloss layer, I can actually go in and tint my standard lipstick any color that I want. So I can make it purple, whatever color I want to make it, and you're never going to lose that highlight because it's sitting on the enhanced layer. So that's how that works. And then let's see, so I've got, we've got eye packs again. Now the eye pack's the same thing, so those get installed into the eye section. So again, I'll click install all, detach, and now they show up on page 2. And let's say these eyeshadows. Now I provide for these eyeshadows a standard version and the enhanced version. I'm going to install the enhanced. So again, there they are on the HUD. And again, you can see with the enhanced how much detail is there. And again, I can control the opacity of that layer or put a different layer underneath it to combine them. Okay, so a couple of things I forgot to mention. First of all, under the tattoo section, you have this button called Send Any to Tattoo Layer. And what that allows you to do, it allows you to send any of the other layers except for the enhanced eyeshadow and lipstick to the tattoo layer. So that allows you to combine extra layers if you need an extra one. So for example, if for whatever reason you wanted to have 2 standard eyeshadows, I could turn that button on. I'm going to turn off the enhanced eyeshadow. So I'm going to send, let's say, this eyeshadow. So now that's actually being sent to the tattoo layer. So you can see as I turn the tattoo layer on and off, it's there. And if I turn that off now and select a different eyeshadow, that's now going to be sitting on top. Now the tattoo layer is at the very bottom layer. So whatever I have up here is sitting on top of the tattoo layer. So that just gives you some extra options there. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that the way our eyes work with the extra shine layer, it allows you to actually go in and tint your eyes any color. So It actually helps if you could do it with any eye color, but if you have a lighter color, it helps. So you can go into the tinting and options section, select either the left or the right eye or both of them, and you can tint them. And again, because the shine layer is sitting on top, it gives you a lot of flexibility on what you want to do with your eyes. And even if you did select a different color, you actually get some, like if I select this kind of brownish color, you can get some very interesting options there. Okay, so that about wraps it up. Thanks very much.